What do these deals say about New England's decision-making?
Well, I think the number one thing it says is that Belichick recognized the team and franchise was in a period of transition. He did not believe in Brady's long-term future, which I didn't either, and I can't blame Belichick. You know, when a quarterback turns 39, 40, even if you're missing the weapons and you start to see slippage in the history of football, every single time until now, what that means is he's going to be finished shortly. Tom Brady was the exception that proved the rule, but he shattered the rule, and that would be hard for someone to foresee. Belichick's succession plan was Jimmy Garoppolo. That was the guy he thought was going to carry the team into the future. Brady had Garoppolo traded, did an end around Belichick, the GM and coach, and went right to Robert Kraft. And next thing you knew, Garoppolo's in San Francisco for another great coach, by the way, great offensive coordinator who's had a lot of success as a head coach in Shanahan.
Until the Super Bowl, we'll go ahead.
But, I mean, they got to the Super Bowl, and had Garoppolo completed one more pass, like they win the Super Bowl. So
Man's got outscored by 40 points in the fourth quarter of Super Bowl. Well, go ahead.
I mean, okay. They came one. You've brought it up. Emmanuel Sanders, if he hits Emmanuel Sanders, they win the Super Bowl. That's as close as you get. The point is, without Garoppolo, the cupboard is bare. And so Belichick, recognizing that he's in a transitional phase, not believing in Brady's future, and Brady proved him and me and others wrong, has to look around for a guy he believes in. He believes in to set the right culture. He believes in can actually get the team wins and maybe to the playoffs and serve as a not too expensive placeholder while he finds his long-term quarterback.
Here's my thing. I can't blame Bill Belichick because we're not talking about Bill Belichick, the coach. We're talking about Bill Belichick, the executive. We're also talking about Bill Belichick, the person. And I'm not meaning, when I say that, Max, I'm not talking about character assassinating him in any way. I don't know Bill Belichick. All I know him to be is a phenomenal football, a brilliant football mind with the credentials that are just more impeccable than anybody in NFL history. And he certainly has my profound respect, and I think anybody who knows anything about football. Here's where I would not Bill Belichick, however. You worked with Tom Brady. You nurtured him. You helped him along the way. And I don't believe that Bill Belichick, if you want to use the words turned against Tom Brady or whatever the case may be, I don't think that was about football at all. I think what happened is that Tom Brady got to a point, took pay cuts, got less than his market value, won Super Bowls, kept them as perennial contenders, et cetera, et cetera. He got to a point where he felt like he was due more deference and respect from Bill Belichick that he had received. You don't necessarily need, nor should you require Bill Belichick to, quote unquote, kiss the ring, but you're not just anybody else either. You are Tom Brady. And I think that he felt at one time or another that he deserved to be treated that way, whether it was contractually, whether it was more than a one-year commitment, whether it was not riding him about being TB12 and connecting with that dude in terms of his conditioning and all of that other stuff and practicing and working out on his own, that kind of thing. I think along the way, the friction ultimately just ballooned to a point where it ultimately burst. If you remember, before Tom Brady departed, I came right here on First Take and I reported, I was told, if Bill Belichick wants Tom Brady to stay, Tom Brady stays. Period. They would have worked it out. The problem was, in order for that to happen, Bill Belichick had to go to Tom Brady and say, I don't want to lose you. I want you to stay. And Bill Belichick, according to my sources, refused to do that. So because of that, that reality right there says to me, it wasn't football. It was something more than that. And at the end, because Bill Belichick is so great, we've never taken the opportunity to step back and say, sir, you're phenomenal. You're great. You're the GOAT as a coach. Your resume says so. But you're not perfect. And in the end, is it possible that you allowed your ego and your level of defiance to get in the way of what was in the best interest football-wise for the New England Patriots? It's possible that Bill Belichick made that mistake for those reasons rather than whatever slippage you thought you saw.
ego was definitely involved on both sides, I think.
Yeah, but Tom Brady's validated that his ego was justified. That's the difference.
Well, that's right. So far, Belichick has a lot to prove, and Duncan and Popovich came to it with much more humility, I think, and Brady and Belichick with more arrogance, and Duncan and Popovich, did the whole thing together, and Brady and Belichick.
You want to act the way you wanted to act before Garoppolo left, that's one thing. But once you lost Garoppolo, you should have held on to Brady for dear life. You don't go from Brady to Cam Newton. I'm sorry. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.